Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the show. I'm Jolando.
I'm Alesta.
Ayana.
Sakian.
So, before we start the show, I would like to, for all our new viewers, welcome. We're happy to have you. See that the views are climbing, and we are excited about that. But for all the new viewers, I know you might have missed the first few shows when we introduced what the show is about. So, we'd like to give you a briefing that when you come on, expect our raw, unapologetic opinions, literally our opinions. So if you may feel uncomfortable or whatnot, please understand that it's our opinions, and
But even if
we
it's
want
that
you.
even if you feel as if like uncomfortable or you might disagree, you could always leave your comments in the chat and tell us how you feel. We will be able to now view it and see what's happening. So make sure you head over to YouTube. Make sure you head over to our Instagram and leave your comments.
Yeah, so feel free to comment your unapologetic opinions as well. All that we ask is that we create a respectful environment and a respectful comment section, right? So
How are you? How was the week, Jolando?
I think it was good.
How was the week, Alesta? It was what? I think mine was good. How was
Exams
yours,
done, no?
Sakian? Yeah, exams soon start back up again.
Yeah, mine was well.
How did people react to last week's episode?
Yo,
What I mean?
well, we definitely saw an increase in the amount of people on the stiff page. We have posted the article. The dog CFBC even commented under the article.
Oh really? What did they say?
Yeah, bag of shoppiness as usual.
So they didn't see the article before until the show?
I don't think so.
Oh. Well, keep watching, guys, because we got
come
more
on.
things.
We got more tea.
going on. More
Yeah, I mean,
tea
tea and
going
blue.
on.
So, our first topic for the evening, actually all of our topics for this evening are gonna kind of stem from the university talk. But before we jump into the particular subtopic, I would like to get everyone's opinion. Me and Alessa, we are graduates. Ayana, she's currently doing her bachelor's degree, her undergraduate degree. Sakian is
A college.
completing his associate, and he has intentions of his pursuing his undergraduate degree. So we're gonna feel out the idea of a university experience from the panel, and then we'll jump into the topics.
How was your experience?
Yeah,
We
Alesta.
did.
I know-
Are you
I just had a
represent
mouthful.
our university
I need to go
now?
first?
Represent,
No.
represent.
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna let Jolanda go. I'm gonna let Jolanda
No.
represent the Caribbean university experience.
No, I think the
Coming
best should be
from-
last. You.
Thank you. High five. She said the words right out of my mouth because I was thinking, Alistair,
No, you go first, Alice.
I think what he wants to do. He wants me to go first to try and up what I have to say. But there's no up in UE, especially Cave Hill. So go ahead.
Okay, that's what me and you guys.
So let's jump right into it, guys. I think, well, I actually pursued my undergraduate degree in Toronto, Canada. I did a honors Bachelor of Commerce Business Management degree, where I did a 5-year program, and then I moved home. And since I moved home, I've been working, not specifically in my field, but it all ties in with each other. Personally, I'm of the opinion that by traveling overseas, especially to first world countries, you get so much more from the networking and the livelihood from the international experience more than someone who may have stayed and pursued it online and stuff like that, because I think for me it all comes down to the whole package, and there's a lot more education that comes outside of academics, especially when you travel overseas. So Jolando.
So
How was your university experience?
let's go to my amazing university experience at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill campus. That's actually situated in Barbados. So, UE Cave Hill campus, 3 words, melting pot of cultures, literally, and melting pot of cultures.
That's 4 words.
Yeah, you are not.
Okay, guys, I neglected the off.
She
I'm
tried to
sorry.
bring it together, of culture. She tried to make
But
it
yeah, I had an amazing experience. I met not only friends from across the Caribbean, lifelong friends from across the Caribbean, but also international friends from Europe, America, Canada, lifelong friends. And it's so funny that I've lived in St. Kitts all my life, and the first time I've got a Nevis friend was when I went to UE.
Yeah.
Really?
Really, really. So that's just to show how much of an impact the interactions and the culture has on you. I mean, I have a lot to say, but I
You'll
feel
get
as though
to
you could,
that,
I could really spread it out in the topics. I don't want to give you everything about my amazing campus just as
Oh
yet.
my
Sakran,
God.
you're looking forward to going to university? You're not? Why?
University is a fight, man.
It's a fight down? I feel you. Why you said that?
Because everybody ain't supposed to have access to it, eh? But I feel like it's so expensive just to deter keep the poor man from, learning, yeah?
I read somewhere that the university experience is a product now. So it's like,
A business?
it's always been a business, but now it's just like capitalism, where you have to pay for this degree, and it's not more so of you just going there to educate yourself.
You're learning for the degree.
You're learning
It's just
for
like
a
you're
degree.
paying.
You're just paying for
Exactly.
this paper.
But I
This is
feel
what
like
you're
you
doing
jumped into
ideally.
something before you told us about your experience.
My experience with the university is it's very limited because I only spent one semester in Jamaica and then COVID hit. But my online experience,
Well, because I haven't had it as well.
my online experience,
Requires a lot of discipline, would you
it
say?
requires a lot of discipline, and you get to kind of miss out on certain experience that you guys would have had, like you said, networking, meeting new people. Although
Embracing the different cultures.
Although we do have group chats and what's not, I haven't seen them face to face, or you just texting them, but you don't really know how they look or how you've never communicated with them physically. Teachers too, you don't know how they look, they just communicate with them via email. So that has been my experience with it. All in all, I'm grateful.
So, one of the topics of the evening is actually comparing local, regional, international, and online. But before we get into that, we're gonna climb back down the ladder. Sorry. What's your guys' take on links, as we call it? Links is basically when you know somebody and they could hook you up on a job, versus somebody having a degree. Which one do you guys
Somebody
think
having a
holds more weight?
A degree?
Having a link to hook you up on a degree, hook you up on a job, or having your degree?
I think both, especially in these times, I think both actually play and actually
Hand in
goes
hand.
hand in hand, because I think that in most situations today, it goes on to networking, because it's who you know. And sometimes if you're in a certain circle or a certain conversation, the opportunities would kind of triumph over somebody else. And sometimes it's not even that you might be more skilled, it's just that based on the conversation and the situation presented itself,
You would have
where
left an
you would
impact.
have been able to kind of get a push in for a certain job.
What do you think, Sakyan? I feel like Sakyan just got something.
People hire people for more than just the degree.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's just a small piece of the pie. I mean, you need to be a holistic person in terms of development, working like team leadership, team working skills, like all of these, ethics, especially in the workplace. If you have to work like a receptionist or something like that, all of these are important. So you just ain't just your degree. And additionally, let's say I got a business, I know Ayana, or Ayana daughter or whatever, and I know Ayana that Ayana come to me and say she wanna work. But then Jolanda now, I ain't no Jolanda, and Jolanda come to me now and say she wanna work. I would quicker hire Ayana, because I know you probably for a long time or whatever.
Regardless of the
I got history.
qualifications, it's true.
It's just that it just would help with chemistry in the office place, because now me and you comfortable, so me and you be easier to work with or whatever. So it just, who you know is important. And would always be.
I agree with both of y'all. I agree with Alessa when he spoke about it. They go hand in hand. You have your degree. Yes, you have your degree, and so you kind of have an advantage per se over certain people, because people want employers want to know that you are specialized or you are versed in this particular area, right? As opposed to somebody who don't have any experience whatsoever in that area, especially the book aspect of it.
I feel as though it's. I can agree with Alester. Sometimes it goes hand in hand, but sometimes as well the links outweigh the degree holder.
Correct.
More majority of the
Yeah,
times.
because you can apply to multiple jobs. Guess what? I don't want to say anything for everybody to think that I'm talking. Okay, let me just say, I'm just
opinion?
giving no, but it's not facts. I'm just drawing a reference. So you went to university to pursue economics. I did a bachelor's degree in economics. Government looking somebody
He will pull, yeah.
who gonna fall into that category, and instead you might see them quicker hire somebody with an associate degree who maybe did something in, let's say, sociology. No, it happens. It happens.
Yeah,
It's
for
like,
sure.
depending, honestly, as I say, it's either it goes hand in hand, they know you, and so they feel obliged to give you the job because you are more qualified. So when they finish, they could say, man, just hire him. He had his qualifications, bring up the fact sheet. But other than that, even if you ain't got the qualifications, they would hire you. And you know, it gonna just be a shush on the word.
Do you think
this
that
person
deters
ain't
a lot of
qualified, etc.,
people?
etc.?
Do you think that deters a lot of people to go to university because they're just like, oh, the degree don't hold no weight? I can just call whoever and they're gonna hook me up with a job.
I think personally, somebody being in an institution for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, still can't compare, especially if they have not tried their best to advance and continue to find ways, creative ways to improve their skill set, to hold them in the same esteem as somebody who come back with a certain level of knowledge that they can apply, where they make them more hands-on and practical for the institution.
I agree with you.
So I'll say this, like for most government institutions, I think there's a constant push and pull for persons who you come back and you got a degree, so you go and you make $6,000, $5,000 or whatever. And somebody who was there gonna say, well, oh, I hear 20 years. But realistically, what have that person done to add value to themselves, to make themselves more suitable for the environment in which they
yeah,
work
but
in?
the thing is, you don't even need a university degree. Just a certificate in itself, just for you doing a few courses. You taking a few courses online to get certified. You constantly doing these things to better yourself. It doesn't have to be a bachelor's or a master's, you know.
And I agree with what you're saying. And I agree with what you're saying, because a lot of persons
They just stay
also don't
there.
realize that you can't just have a bachelor degree for most things these days. You still have to specialize. Like, for example, if you're doing accounting, you still have to do an ACCA accreditation. You still have to do a CPA, a CGA. That's what really gives you that leverage to say you're considered an accountant. You know what I mean? But a lot of persons still don't even understand the levels of it. Like the same thing if you're doing IT, there's certain certifications that you still have to do to actually make you an IT professional, such as engineering. You have to get a PN.
I don't mean to qualify as a position, but just to do take extra steps.
But
Which is
to
what
better
I'm
yourself.
supporting what you're saying. I'm saying that persons still can, even if they don't go for the degree, they might be able to go for the specification or the
Yeah,
credential that still
right.
makes them more marketable to better themselves in the
But
institution.
the first question you asked, I feel like you're kind of pushed away from, and I was really wanted to answer that. If people are willing, I feel as though yes, people are willing, because even though after they return, they feel a little bit deterred, like why did I go to do it? I feel as though most people see it as they're gonna pay me for the degree, even if they're working in a job with their associate degree. They tell themselves, okay, well, I'm gonna get the bachelor so that I can up my pay. I don't feel of an impact that it makes them not want to get a degree. I feel as though we live in a society that people are more thinking, I'm going to allow myself to be more competitive within the workforce, even if it means when I do go out and get a degree, I may have less options, they may not want to hire me. At least I can say I am more competitive. I feel as though that you guys will tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel more people are looking for that level of empowerment, that I have attained this, I am qualified, and I am going to do different things to put my best foot forward and to be even more qualified.
Really?
As opposed to just thinking I'm not going to get hired.
Again, it comes down to what you're doing as well. Because
exactly.
links are not
Exactly.
important when it comes to a doctor. Like, no
Oh,
matter how
no,
much
no.
people, you know, once you went school to study whatever, you'll never get a job.
Right.
Because they can't put somebody on a table in front of you and you ain't going to study.
Yeah.
So it just depends. I mean, some simple like a clerk, like maybe a
Working
teller
in
at the
an
bank or
office,
something, working as a receptionist or something like that. I don't feel like that matters much to get a degree for. Like, because somebody else got a degree in office administration. Why pay them so much money to fulfill a simple job like this when I could pay
Right.
somebody less money
Right.
because they ain't got a degree, but they could do the job same as them.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's an economic standpoint, so you could look at it like you're saving money as well. Because
From the
when you hire
employer's
somebody who got a degree in OA, office administration, why you hire them and you gotta pay them $5,000 because you gotta pay them for the degree?
Yeah.
That's another thing too, you know.
It's
Before I go
like
to
you could
comment,
just
a lot
save a
of
lot of
people,
money.
it's easier for you to choose the link that's unqualified because you're gonna have to end up paying the qualified person
Exactly.
even more. But the link now, they're just happy for the job and it's easy
Yeah,
to
man's
give
about
them
it.
And a lot of
the
things
minimum wage.
is on the job training, so it's just like, yeah, you're gonna get your degree, but you still gotta come in the office
And still
I
learn
have
how to
train
do
you
it.
how to
Yeah.
use my
System.
The
my
system
thing.
that they
So
have
it
in
just makes
place.
sense. I hire somebody and train them same way. You know,
And
it might take
also
longer,
coming
but-
back to the links conversation, you may be qualified for e-commerce, somebody else may be qualified for this, and they'll quicker choose you for that. But anyway, before going to that, we have a comment from Danny because she said, I can get that. On the other hand though, it happens where the person with a degree comes in and takes a higher position or higher salary, and someone with more experience ends up with half. Being the one training the person with the degree
Exactly.
and footing a lot of the work.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think it says, oh, she just saying she don't think the link situation details a lot of people she agrees with that. But it's true.
I agree with you, Danica. Like, I still got train you and you got your degree, and that's
Sure.
literally the point that I was trying to make just now. Like, why would I pay you for a degree
When I
and
could
I
just
still
teach
got to
someone,
train
exactly.
you?
And it goes back to the whole conversation that the whole point I was making, that I don't think it deters people because they know, well, as much as the links do matter, a lot of the jobs value the degree. So in their mind, they're gonna give themselves a competitive edge.
Let me ask a question for the panel. Do you think that the system needs to change with how they restructure in terms of degree versus non-degree and stuff like that? Like, what's your take?
So yeah, I can't really hear
Do
you.
you think that the system needs to be restructured based on the how they view what considers this person to become a senior clerk, that kind of
No,
stuff? Like,
because then it takes away from the weight a degree holds. Why you go to school to study? If your degree, if it is that you're asking, like, okay, the employer needs to not put one over the other, right? Not put the degree over somebody who have more experience. I think that it should remain the same, simply because I think it would minimize the, what's the word?
Wait.
the way
The weight, you could say
Value?
the value of the degree.
It just
The
depends
reason you
though.
go away to study is to better yourself and specialize in a specific area to come back and make more money.
Yeah, but going
That's
back to
what I
the
mean.
whole conversation of coming back with your degree and the person with the 20 years odd experience having to train you because they are more equipped and more knowledgeable on the task of the job, and then now they are left
With
on the
little pay. Yeah.
at the
But
lesser
then in that
end.
case, then the employer, if you're working there for 20 years and you're still making a little bit of money, then the employer needs to change that aspect of it. The employer
But
needs
but
to
what
say,
happens
okay, you
if
contributed.
the institution don't have the provisions in place to allow that? Meaning,
Then you change
meaning
it, like you
that
said.
if the person is working and they are considered a junior clerk, and then they move into a senior clerk, but there's a opening that's available for, let's say, accounting officer or accounting manager, and the requirements for that position based on like the estimates book or whatever the measures that they use still requires them to have a degree. That is what will really differentiate where you say, yes, they have 20 years experience, but they're not qualified for it based on their educational background to sit in the same chair, even though they would have had a good rounded.
So I agree. So I think that was your question.
Correct.
Should that be changed? And yes, I think that your experience should hold as much weight.
But then you also raises the other question. So in a situation like that, and the person does not have an ACCA accreditation, and then all those things, then you also know, is it that the institution now is forced to help that person to develop educationally to the international standards of conducting business?
Yes.
Meaning that if you have the person who has an ACCA accreditation, for example, at least they will be more rounded in terms of picking up on fraud, seeing certain patterns,
But I would
using
think
the
that
skill set.
for being there for so
But
many
sometimes
years,
you still don't. Sometimes you still don't get that specific training that will help to sift out how they do business.
I think
and
that-
also I think where the challenge comes, Ayano, is a lot of persons were doing business because of they're working here from 1960, but they don't realize that the standard to which business operates has also changed. Like for example, in most offices now, people use QuickBooks. But if you were accustomed to have like a big ledger that you would have write up and stuff like that, and you know you could have used QuickBooks, but because you're not computer savvy, then you also hinder the growth of the institution to become more digitalized and all these things. So that's where the degree and the links and the experience and stuff starts to come.
From based on what you're saying, you think that the degree should outweigh the experience?
In some situations, it makes a difference in terms of the
Not saying it
productivity.
doesn't make a difference, but if it indefinitely, it should outweigh.
It depends on I think you have to look at it on a person by person basis
Job by job.
to see if the person has done their own
Enough.
research
It depends.
to
So I was
develop
gonna
and
say-
continue to see if they're meeting
I was gonna
what are the
say-
international trends of conducting business and find ways in which the institution can
Help.
get the best possible results.
Okay.
I was
That's
gonna
fair
say
enough.
that in
Because
a
like I
lot of
said,
private
you can't tell me that in 2021 you're still doing paper when you could do, you know.
No, Miss FI.
But I'll be listening to a listener. Okay, Ayana wants it. Let's hear from you, Ayana. Go ahead.
Ayana try to talk.
I tried to a couple times.
A
man.
really good point. You just
I was
made.
gonna say that in a lot of private institutions there is oh shucks, evaluation, and in these evaluations they would determine your progress and your growth and how you can contribute and how the employer can help you develop yourself. Do you want cross training? Do you want time? Do you like different things, right? And I think that it's important to keep that. I don't know how it is in government, but I think that it's important to keep that in institutions, simply because it helps you to see the growth of this individual. It helps you to see, okay, she's practical, she has good work ethic, she tries to go above and beyond, and etc. etc. So now you would quicker be able to assist her
What had happened
for
was,
a new position that may be opening, because if that person is working there 20 years, invest in your employer. You should be able to see in your employee. You should be able to see that this individual is going above and beyond, doing X, Y, Z, whatever.
I think that's what Alessio was trying to say. On an individual basis, if the
Right,
particular individual is up to date with the trends and etc., then definitely you could say, well, there's
But
some
I think
sort
that would
of
help to
level play
you were
field with
saying
the
about
degree.
sifting out, and I think that would help, because then you actually see what this employee is capable of when compared to somebody who just coming in with this business degree.
what
Right?
to show you to is some people just go to school and they turn robots, as in they go
They
to school and they
regurgitate
don't do
information.
no extracurricular activities, they don't exhibit any leadership skills, they don't exhibit any teamwork, ethics, anything like that. So I mean, it just depends, because somebody in you, let's say 4 years, and you check the record or the resume and it's all book.
Yeah.
Little,
That's a
it's
good
like,
point as well.
how you hiring these
That's a
people?
good
These
point as
people gonna
well.
just come to your office and they'll just maybe suck the life out the office. Yeah,
It
in the
should.
shop.
But I mean, even outside of
They
the
won't know how to work
extracurricular
with
activities,
people.
but just the whole idea of going to school, regurgitating the information so that you can pass,
Exactly.
and then you come back with you. Let's go back to
I
the
had
A,
empty.
CCA, and yeah, you are the one that's qualified, but really and truly,
Yeah,
you
no, no,
learn to.
Because you just
The social
regurgitate
skills, the other
information.
skills.
Not just the other skill, but you do really learn the information enough so that it can be implemented,
Apply,
or you just
yeah.
learn to pass.
Right.
That
To
happens a lot.
regurgitate information.
Yeah,
I
just
think
to regurgitate, but it happens a lot. So it's like you still have to feel out that employee who is quote unquote qualified.
not to stretch from the topic, right? But I also think that one thing that we overlooked was the fact that HR plays a major role in the institution. So, for example, a lot of times I think that I think the employers don't realize how impactful HR plays in terms of constantly evaluating its staff and its staffing needs and allowing opportunities to present themselves or try to help the institution to be better equipped. So I said that to say this. Ayana made a reference saying that if I was evaluated from, let's say, Ministry of Health, right? And I was evaluated, but even though my supervisor would have looked over me as a person, then HR should have or be aware of what things or what measures can be in place to help me to be better and over
Especially if
time.
you're capable, especially if you show some sort of eagerness and enthusiasm to the job. You know, don't just got me there working 5 years and ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read the last comments on this topic. We're gonna wrap it up, and then we're gonna head into the other topic. So
Really good point, Sakya.
yeah, and
Period.
Danica actually said, "Oh yeah." So I think both are equally important. Going back to Sakyan's first point, not everyone has access to education, especially in St. Kitts and Nevis, where financial resources for higher education are extremely limited. 100% believe in developing and investing in your staff. There must be something to measure against. Really good point, Sakyana. So the first
Well, we're
topic,
still on the university topic.
You're gonna wrap it up first.
So I'll wrap it up. We basically spoke about links versus degrees, and which do you guys feel is more important? Do you think that you having a university degree outweighs or should outweigh links, or do you guys think that go university, get your degree, come back and be better off? So leave your comments in the chat.
I'm disappointed that we can only hear from Danica tonight, guys. Come on YouTube. Come on in YouTube and comment. We want to hear, we like to know the consensus based on the whole university conversation in St. Kitts. So the next topic, we are looking at online education versus local versus regional versus international. So
Alesta went to school, so we're gonna talk about which university is better. Should you go overseas?
and not just and whether you're going
Lord,
overseas, Canada, international, Canada,
Regional.
America,
But you said
Europe,
online, as in
regional,
so
Jamaica,
just the different
Barbados,
ways of getting information
online.
A lot of people like to say, oh,
You got UE
I'm
Open
going Europe
Campus.
to study, and they come back and they feel like they're better than somebody who went UE.
UE
Why?
Open
You
Campus,
harder actually. You know?
Ashford. I can't remember
Literally.
anything else. The other
Okay,
ones.
for me, let me just simplify it, right?
Lord.
For me, I think personally, the online experience, I'm not knocking it. I think persons who have that discipline and who did a 4-year program online, I applaud them. Just for me though, I think that they lack, like Jolanda was saying, the social skills, the networking. I also mentioned that when you're taking online classes, a lot of times you don't really get the interaction that you need, because that's when you learn the culture of the person, you meet different people, you learn those skills that can be transferred into the workplace. You're learning to tolerate different people, different groups, different stuff like that.
But
So
not only that, you kind of also miss, you miss the opportunity to network
Correct.
regionally with regionally, you might gain some regional colleagues, international colleagues, so you miss the opportunity. But
Depends.
when you look on the flip side, well, it depends for you because you could meet them online. But it's
And
still
that's
but
what it's like
the
people normally
physical
do
interaction actually fosters the relationship.
Correct.
People that
But-
normally do online classes though work while doing the online classes.
Correct.
So I mean, while they're working, they're still developing these
Those
same
skills.
skills. So they ain't really losing it. It's just they're working.
But then
same as
remember too, it's not just about the academic side of it, and that's why a lot of people get it twisted because, like for example, like Jolanda started off the conversation by saying that she still has lifelong friends who she's met, who she could now moving back home say, hey, I could call my girlfriend in Nevis because we already shared a room together, we went to parties together,
I
we
just feel like
socialized
that ain't
together,
mean much
we
now.
moved in a different environment, in a different world together, and we were able to still achieve the
depends on what
same
you're
goal. So as a result, the conversation will
Me ain't
always be
care.
different.
I wouldn't care
And you
actually
see,
to meet people like that.
Sakian said something very important. He doesn't think it means much now, but
After having
him
that
saying
experience-
that, I'm taking it as to each his own. I feel like it boils down to that.
Yeah,
That's the
it's-
most
it
important
boils down
thing.
to what your priority
If
is, what you
you
want.
feel as though, yeah, my main goal is just to get the degree, the interaction, the networking and what's not is irrelevant, then go for it. But the biggest plus of doing the online degree is your pockets, obviously, the financial benefit, because you know it's going to be cheaper than going regional or international. It's going to cut down the cost for room, cut down the cost
For board,
Not
for
just that, you
food.
know.
for food,
You save you the stress
the
of having to
administration
trying to get a
fees.
work when you come back from getting your degree.
I
Because
mean,
you
and
work
that
Not
if you-
really, not really
if
though,
you're
because many
working-
persons too, Sakian, works in an environment where there would have been a junior clerk, and yes, you got your degree today, and as a result now, you think, well, oh, I graduated at the end of April, and automatically I should go from
No,
whatever
you can't
salary.
expect that.
It's so
but
funny.
you
It's so
wouldn't-
funny me saying this
But
because
at
I
least
actually
you ain't
saw.
gonna graduate and come back.
I don't even. I don't.
And
I
at
don't-
least you ain't gonna get.
But you still would
because
have to wait.
even if you come back, you might not get a senior clerk position, not because you got a degree.
But the options of jobs that you will be able to apply
We
for
just move.
will be different.
You just do fictional unemployment
Which
for a
one,
while.
which one do you guys think pays more? Online degree, regional universities, or international universities?
But all learning
I'm going
is
to
the
say anything
same,
outside of online.
All
I think
learning
anything
is the
outside of
same.
online will hold just as much as weight than the online experience.
I feel like
Because
online
I feel like
what
the
more
degree is
now?
the degree.
Correct.
When you look at
Because the
what
discipline.
holds more weight
I
is
think
when you
it's
look at the statistics of the school. What holds more weight is when you look at the statistics of the school. You look to see
Where the school is
the
placed on the international-
applicability of the students when looking at job, etc. Like some of the schools actually have those statistics out.
yeah.
So that is what actually holds more weight. But if the same, let's look at one of those elite schools in America. Let's say Harvard. They have online programs, in-person programs. Or Harvard is Harvard,
Yeah, Harvard is Harvard.
right? So I
exactly.
feel like it would be based on the school you choose and the weight of the school.
And also what you choose to do with the knowledge after graduating. I mean,
Exactly.
look at the Honorable Lindsey Grant. He's a Harvard graduate. And
What?
he is.
Yeah, he went to school with Barack Obama.
He went
got
to school with
paid,
Barack Obama.
got
Barack
paid.
Obama. So I'm just saying, like, he still moved home to St. Kitts. I'm not saying that he hasn't achieved a lot as a professional, but what I'm saying is that he still would have had a different level of networking because,
And
like
so
I said,
man-
he went to school with Barack Obama. So it just goes back to the same question that we rose earlier, saying that it still goes outside of him logging on by a computer with internet and saying, oh, I was in a class with you, versus, well, we used to actually come to each other's dorm, we actually went to a couple of parties, we had fun at that time. So the networking that he would have gotten from that experience, you could still call Barack and say, hey, Barack, like, you remember when we graduated the same year?
So
I'm just saying,
let's move away from the online. We've looked at the advantages
The
and
online is
disadvantages
best.
of the online. Let's move into the competition in regards to the in-person learning now. Regional versus international. We all know that the regional, attending a school within our region will be way cheaper than attending a school on the international scene.
Correct.
So my question to Alessa, because you attended a school on the international scene, is it worth spending the extra money? And then I guess we could go back and forth.
For me, I think the experience that I got, allowed me to experience different seasons because I was living in a predominantly cold country for 8 months of the year.
But you're taking everything and just making it more than white.
No, but what I'm saying is,
I was like,
what I'm saying
Alexa just hit me with the season.
Like, really, like, come on, let's like,
spring,
Okay, let's
summer.
It's his experience.
because he's not the whiter than us.
No, second, no, he ain't talking about the education.
I'm just saying that the different experiences which were outside of academics still helped.
I feel
You know what I mean?
So
That's
now
all
you
I'm
had a
saying.
little cold.
So I know he had cold.
Okay,
You got
but based on the question I asked, if spending the extra dollar is worth the international degree,
I would
I
say
don't feel like the
personally to
seasons
answer
is
you,
enough. I want something
I would
else.
say personally to answer you, it all comes down to what you want.
You want.
So some persons go to US school because they wanted to do to join a sorority. That was what they wanted. I mean, I know persons like Tashan, you know what I mean, Akil and stuff like that, they went and they did. They were Alpha Sigma, Alpha whatever in Florida, so they had that experience. But I wanted that experience too, but my option was Canada. And the reason why I went to Canada was the fact that I was born there, so I still paid in-house fees rather than international school fees. If I had paid international school fees like other persons, it probably would not have been as economically friendly as if I went to a school in the region. So I'm just saying it's all based on your needs, what you're looking for and your preference.
And you can't, like, honestly, as much as we can big up you as a regional as a regional tertiary level education, they still have the flaws. They really still have the flaws. And if it is that I was aware of the certain flaws at that university, I would have gone to an international school.
So, because
I would have gone to
I
an
would like
international
you just
school.
to give the viewers an idea of what flaws they may encounter in UE, or maybe allow them to do more research. What flaws would you say you encountered that would have you second guessing going to UE?
I don't know how to word it. It's more so not even the schooling, but the administration processing of the university. It's more like when people say you is stress, they ain't talking about school. They're talking about the laid back.
They're talking about both.
Okay, they're talking about both, but they're talking about both. But you will waffle.
Not definitely school and
even
administration. You got a lot of lackadaisical workers in the administration across the board.
That could be easily fixed. They don't have that. They don't have that. So, for instance, I go to school in Jamaica, and they act as if the university belongs to Jamaica. They act as if the university solely belongs to Jamaica. So when they're sending out emails and so on, for instance, when COVID occurred, they literally we were anticipating going back to Jamaica. We did not even know whether or not school would be held online or face to face or whatever. But as a regional student, we found out like a week before school starts.
But you see what I'm talking about? So in terms of going to school in North America, my experience was that they communicated clearly.
Yes.
They had a better structure in place. There was not so much of the prejudice. I'm not saying they didn't have prejudice, but what I'm saying are prejudices. But they still were a little bit more accommodating in terms of certain things. So all like situation. I mean, if we had a snow day, you could literally know that if I got up in the morning and you look at CP24 news, you would already know that before you left home, all schools are closed. So the communication was...
It's surprising that we got this comment, because I was gonna say, I can definitely admit that UE has flaws. We have flaws when it comes to the administration process, but it would not determine if I'm going to UE. And it's so funny that was my next point, because we actually have a comment from Danica, who actually went to school in Canada, and she says every school has its flaws. Every school, a lot of flaws, and I can only guess that she's speaking based on her experience.
And I'm not
so what I'm saying is that I guess you might come into UE and you might think that this experience in UE with the lack of communication, the lackadaisical workers, etc., etc., you will just erase that because It's only in UB, but I'm happy that it's
that.
pointed out that it can definitely be across the board, whether it's regional or international.
As you would have said, this would be my preference. As you would have said, the university that you attended don't have certain prejudices because they would know and they would accommodate to a vast variety of cultures. In University of the West Indies, Jamaica, they don't have that. They just think that I am in an environment and my learning ability is limited because the teacher's
Correct.
ability
Correct.
and the scope.
I've
is
heard
very
that about.
limited.
I've heard that about
You know?
you.
So
it's not
just to
only
add
that.
just to add to what she said, even when I graduated and I worked for graduation part-time as a student, right? In the summertime, we respected so many different cultures that even up to the point of
Okay,
Guys,
we'll be right back. We're gonna take a short commercial break.
I mean,
Rain
it might be a
falling.
passing cloud because
No,
see,
we
it looks
can't
like
laugh
it's
at
flying
this.
away.
We can't laugh at it.
Is it that far? Okay, guys, the rain is falling. Give us a moment. We're on a
We'll be right back.
2-minute break. Don't go anywhere.
Could. Should.
But
This is what happens when you have a live show. You guys get to see all the behind the scenes situations that we have to deal with. But we are back and we're going to jump straight into where we left off, where we spoke about which one way more, local, regional or international, and we all discussed and said that it really does not matter. It's based on your preference at the end of the day and what you want
and the way to
and
this
what you
school.
want to experience as a student. And as Sakian would have said, Sakian think that the university is a
Yes.
what he said is a
No,
product.
it depends. Yeah, it depends. It depends. But we got wrap up.
But why do you guys think? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna go into the next topic,
Okay.
which is what I was gonna add. I was gonna say a lot of people go away to study, especially international schools, and they don't return. Why?
Oh boy.
I think for most persons, they're actually trying to find themselves. They might have gotten a job opportunity and stuff like that. So that is what kind of keeps them overseas. Sometimes for some persons, they just had a 5-year time. They just got tired of it, and then just felt like home was the better option. So it all comes down to personal preference, I would say.
Even go back down to why choose an international school over a regional school, because the next point for choosing an international school is to be as far as possible away from home. I mean, just to experience
Another
anything.
point, you're running
And
from
so
your
people
personal
them
problems
don't
at home.
exactly, and some people don't stress you and them kind of thing. So it's like they just want to come back
study, they get
comfortable. You feel
And
like
just to
that
add
you're
to-
home.
And just to add to what Sakian said too, in terms of the online experience versus living overseas, that also helps in a lot of reasons why persons prefer to move away, get that independence, live on their own, manage their
that
time,
kind of vibe.
all those other skills actually help to make the person more rounded.
See, Brittany Osborne said a lot of flaws, too much flaws, that God. But I was gonna say too, to add to the why a lot of people don't return back to St. Kitts is simply because they feel as if we can't afford to pay them.
Even
But I think a lot of people are not
Especially-
practical though.
They're
A
not
lot of people have the
practical.
concept that, oh, well, I got a degree now, so I should come home and I should make $10,000 a month.
would stay.
But you don't have the experience. And like we were talking about earlier, where you don't have the skill set to understand the dynamics of that work environment. So money would come eventually, but you can't expect that you walk out of university tomorrow and you should deserve $10,000.
I think it depends.
No
on
way
degree
around
that
the
you-
world.
I think it depends on the degree that you study, because I personally
Which degree? No degree.
No
No degree. No degree. No
degree.
degree. You come
If
back
you
and
want to be like
come
a
to the
surgeon.
no.
But even so, you still have
them.
a rotation. Even me working at hospital, even if you come back as a medical doctor, you still have rotation for a period of time.
You're not gonna start
before
on that
you start to
level.
make the money and you gain that experience and that confidence of the person that
you have
you
to
work
come back
with.
bearing in mind that each job has its scale, and unfortunately, the high figure, $10,000 figure that you have in mind, it's just not
Practical. Correct.
And to be honest, in comparing to a lot of the other regional countries, we actually pay
Definitely.
undergraduate degree holders and graduate degree holders very well compared to them.
Correct. Especially
Even
Eastern Caribbean dollars.
comparing the comparing the currency, converting the currency. That's what I'm looking for. Even converting the currency, we still make more than them.
I would work, like if I study internationally, I'll study for a while, especially in the US or even in Europe.
I think I would.
Because I'm making 2.7 more.
But you have to remember,
a dollar deal is $2.7 here, yeah.
But you have to remember,
as in, I could get rich faster here. Like if I work there, I could get a lot more money. And then come back here and then I would seem rich because I got 2.7 more. And then
but remember, Sakian, living in first world countries, you also have more overheads, such as you have rent.
Depends.
You have income tax you have to pay.
Live
You have the
Arizona,
operating
Texas.
costs of buying winter
taxes.
clothes
Live
and
Texas.
all these other things. You have
Live Texas,
taxes and all these things.
Live
No, and
Texas,
literally
Texas
is
don't got
dollar.
income tax.
Literally is dollar to a dollar because you might be up there. You're saying it's 2.7 versus us, but they're making the $4,000 with their bachelor's degree. We're making $4,000 with our bachelor's degree. The same how they got to cut down their expenses. We're using their currencies. The same how we have to cut down our expenses. Our rent costs maybe $1,500. They rent cost $100. So when they're done, their money actually chopping down. Like how our money chopping down. Now,
Is
if
where
you
you
were
live.
supposed to
Go to Texas. I know I'm telling you,
if you were
Texas
supposed
don't got an
to,
income
if you were
tax.
supposed to
Yeah, but
send
they have
home
other
money.
taxes. They have other.
Trust
they have
me.
the land. They have different type of taxes. So
Watch,
you can't
rent
just say,
in
okay,
Texas.
I'm making more money, but at the end of the day, you're spending more
Yeah.
money.
Rent in Texas.
And
Because
not
you
only
have
that,
to
you're spending
spend-
money.
yeah.
You have a lot. The market is bigger too. So it's just like in St. Kitts, you ain't spending so much money because there's only so much you could spend it on. In America, you want to spend it on everything.
But not only that,
too.
the
So-
benefit, I feel like the benefit comes from you maybe saying, okay, I'm going to send home $100 for my mom. So she's going to be glad because that's $270.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But up there, the $100, the same, how we got to spend $100. So let's say the pedicure.
Is
It's
this
the same, but they have to spend $100
But-
in US, in Canadian dollars
I understand.
to do a pedicure.
Well, I
I'm
understand
glad
what
that-
I mean.
I'm glad that Danica is on this, right? So I know Danica is gonna comment, and I'm gonna say something for Danica to comment. So Danica, I'm hoping this is
Oh,
out here.
yeah, she actually
Right?
started, she said.
Listen,
but income tax
in
is
Canada,
okay.
in Canada, my rent was 1,000 Canadian at that time,
Wow.
right? And I was living on campus. And Danica just support me on this, right? 1,000 Canadian at that time was at the rate of 2.5.
Okay.
So which would mean that was $2,500 rent. Easy as you see it there. So it also goes down to show you that
But that's on
literally,
campus. I'm talking about when you done graduate.
What I'm saying
You
is-
see,
I'm
and
saying
she
the
made a
point.
good point. She said, but income tax isn't the only thing you're paying, Saki. And I guess Danica maybe could get a little roll up because she's actually working
wait, let's
in
Saki
Canada
get a
right now.
chance.
You understand what I mean. I feel like it just depends on where you are. You got some places in America internationally where rent is way cheaper than
you
that
still have the
1,000.
overheads though.
You
You still
got
have the
the
overheads.
utility is
Sakia.
probably a little expensive.
You still have to pay for heating. Heating is mandatory.
And then
If you
it's
don't
like-
pay for
Live
heating,
Texas, you ain't want to heat it.
Okay.
Plus
you
hot.
still have the AC on.
Yeah, but
You
you
still
see what
have the
happened in
AC
Texas
on.
recently?
Like I
You see
said,
what happened in
So-
Texas
But
recently?
what I mean is just that you could find ways to be more economical. Same mistake.
I understand
Like
what
you
you're
could
saying,
save money there.
but literally from
and
the
you could
time you
save.
jump in your car in any US or
You
first
jumping in
world
car in
country,
US, fam.
you
You gotta
pay
pay
something.
you gotta
I mean,
pay-
look at
it's a
it.
lot of things.
If you go from
There's more
if you
You
go
gotta
from
pay for
Jersey,
parking. You gotta
if you
pay
go
for
from
access
Jersey to
taxes.
New York, even if you come outside every day in New York City, if you
You
get up in the
gotta pay.
morning late, you're already paying for that parking just for parking.
Just for parking.
Because if they come around and they start charging you for a ticket, you know what I mean? It's so many other factors.
But before we I'm going to allow you to jump in, but Danica said You spend more to go to school now, so you're paying more in student loans. 1, you have rent. 2, groceries. 3, house bills. Unless you're living with family or have someone paying your bills, you are spending.
Yeah.
And I think it's very good that she commented because she's actually living abroad right now.
No, you can't compare it. So you can't
Skillet the people back
you
here
can't
to G.
compare it for real.
Trust
we
me.
living life really easy here in St.
And
Kitts.
especially when you put us
Man,
kind
really
of
care about
months
it.
and months and months money now, they're really doing cut off. But
We pay
you
what
think
we
you
want
could
pay, you know.
See, she
The
said you
electricity
can
bill?
find ways to be economical, but
You'll be paying
willing
money
to pay money
Man,
regardless.
say you ain't paying money. Disregarding what I'm saying, yo.
We ain't
I'm not
disregarding.
saying you're not paying money, but all I'm saying is
Oh, she
When
was
you-
like, the minute you step
Wait.
outside, you're paying $100.
when you spend,
Correct.
when you have $5 there, when you come here, you would have 10
10.
something. That's well 30, 50, however much it be.
No,
And that's all I'm saying.
I
girl.
can acknowledge that. That's what I say.
Because
It's
especially if you
definitely
make
more.
money and you save in an account,
And
you
it's
send
easier
them money
for
and you
I feel like
save
it's
or
easier for you to
whatever.
pay off your loan.
I mean, it's
Exactly,
definitely,
because you take a 100,000 EC
Yeah.
and you're
It's
up there
defi-
making US
no,
now.
it's
it's
definitely
like,
more so
it'll
up.
be
You're
easier.
looking down. You could say, yeah, boy, I'm making more money than them. But because you're spending so much, it's like you're living in
I
a
think
in a
Sakana just put you in that
situation.
conversion.
That's
And
all.
Yeah, I
and
think
I'm an
it's really
economist.
and
That's
that
all I
it's
But
got.
then-
more at the end of the day.
Yeah, but the question was really why you choose to stay outside, even though it wouldn't just be that you know you're making more than them in saying it's based on the currency conversion, because when you're done, you're still paying the same dollar to dollar that they're spending.
You know, I just think people that just want to break.
I think another reason is too why people don't come back to St. Kitts, as we're on the topic of brain drain, is because that a lot
said, but you're not in
of
St.
businesses.
She just said
What
the
she
same
said?
thing I said. Also, when comparing USD to XCD, you're comparing USD to XCD, but you are forgetting that when you're in the US, it is dollar to dollar. That's why I keep saying.
Yeah, I
when you're done, your
understand
money
that.
gone done because it's dollar to dollar.
Okay, we don't move on. And we were saying now, another reason why a lot of people don't return is simply because companies in St. Kitts ain't got no room for growth.
As in, yeah, you can't go from he had to go from a teller to
It
like
had
a,
to, it had,
not even
one,
a
it had
CEO,
to
may
get
want
a
to say
job
CEO.
because people want to move out of the position.
Yeah,
People
them
in positions
60-year-olds
for
still
10,
there.
20 years, move in. So when the young people now, is even without a degree, even if you get into a job as a beginner or whatever you want to call them, you can't move. There's no lateral movement
exactly.
for you because people want to remain in that position.
But
for
them
the
old heads
10,
just hold on
20
to things
years.
long in St.
I
Kitts.
think that
Look at.
I think retirement needs to.
No, the lower
to
it
go
be
down.
the less money go make. Because I mean, you got to pay pensions.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
don't
I
know.
agree with that one.
They should kind
I
of
agree
actually.
with that one.
But they
go
need to
books.
move, man.
But
They
I think
could find a way. They
persons,
could just find a limit because even after they done with pension age, they still working.
They'll still be working.
It's just that they go.
People
They
still
gotta let them go.
working.
They
But
gotta-
I think people have to
but then you still
plan.
got to acknowledge the fact that everybody got responsibilities, like you're saying. Give them a limit, let them go home.
No,
but when they
no,
go home, they must be living in poverty because.
Poverty.
But they had
And they
all
got
that
high
years,
position,
they got
and all
60
them
years,
years
so no,
cover
for me,
and
But they got
power.
responsibility,
for
they
me,
got
so I
family.
must
They
start.
long.
No, I'm not
So I
saying
must
that.
start to make
I'm
$5,000
acknowledging the other
when
side
I'm
of the
50.
fence because
They got
realistically
mortgage
they
to
have
pay.
the responsibilities. You know what
And the
debt
thing
and
with
mortgage
them-
they got to.
They just live long.
No,
Them
Jalan,
old
no,
man,
that
them
is
old
not fear.
rich people that live long
That
because
is
they
not
could
fair.
afford the health care, they could afford to eat properly, they could afford to go gym and
You
pay gym
tie me
exercise.
up because
Isn't
you
it?
got mortgage to pay, as if me ain't got mortgage to pay
Exactly.
too.
And you got student loan to pay. Then they don't pay for the student loan. They should go. Go ahead.
Them
I'll
they
go
had
home.
all the years, you gotta go.
You gotta
Come,
go.
take the
Wrap
boot.
up. Wrap
You
up. Nobody
fail.
should be 75
I'm
and
sorry.
still
I'll say this though. Let me defend
Yeah,
the
Older
more
food.
mature crowd, right? I think personally that young people don't have the longevity to work
They
in an
give up fast,
institution.
yeah.
We they give up fast, we they tap
Yeah.
out real quick.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I work in a and say something to me that I don't like,
But she gain it.
sick leave. Hands down. I think most of the commenters would actually
Yeah,
agree that our work ethics is not as loyal as the persons who would have been there for 20, 30 years.
I
And
just
it's
think
fact.
it's a result of the
It's
motivation.
just how it is. Our motivation is totally different. And as much as we have a
I beg
degree
to differ.
today,
I
we
think
think
it's
that
because
we have a
there's
different
people who
sense
are
of
just-
I don't know where
entitlement.
effort.
And I think our young people right now, we feel like we ain't standing for the quote-unquote BS of the institution. Whereas all the persons who were there just have kids, they had the mortgage, they got car note, so they will still be tugging it out a little longer.
Is it talking?
Some of the times it's when standing for the BS, but some of the times it's that you're lazy, and as a result, You just choose to be lazy and you choose to go home.
I beg to differ. I think that there are a lot of people who are just as serious and enthusiastic about the position, and they can't get an opportunity to shine because the older people want no new modern way of life. So if I come now with we still say, okay, how about let's make this more effective? Let's use the internet and let's use this platform. Old people ain't want that. They're gonna shut you down. They're gonna say,
Exactly. Your teeth it.
I understand the whole.
Stunting the goal.
I could understand. I could understand the whole idea of there needs to be repairs. We need some more. We need modernized methods of doing, etc. But I cannot ignore, as I said before, that same as us, they have the responsibilities. You don't know if the pension plan gonna cover all the responsibilities they have to cover.
For ensuring that.
I mean, based on one-on-one conversations, I have to acknowledge that.
I know. In addition to what you said too, right? Sometimes it's like we're working under the old heads them.
What is it, the oppressors? The oppressors.
We're working under them and like we do something and like they don't give us the credit for it. Right. They don't go in the big management meetings and be like, yeah, my department or whatever did this or whatever. Because they know if they go in there and be like, yeah, I must commend Ayano Franks. You know, one of somebody on them, I think. They're going to think like, exactly. So it's like, they don't just fight down people.
I must agree with you, Sakian, in the basis that a lot of the older heads in key positions are not persons who are creative, and afterwards they become complacent.
Exactly.
And again, they too also start to hinder the growth of the institution because they still want to operate like it was 1960. And you can. Like, I mean, I don't even want to give an example of work right now, but I have challenges where sometimes you got persons who deal 40 years and they just can't see to do business different. You know what I mean?
And not only they operate with this mentality.
So just like, if you're going up for university, you experience to this different way of thinking. You want
to introduce it.
And be stunted.
Yeah, it really stunts the growth for the business. I'm still gonna kind of play defense. I agree wholeheartedly, but at the same time I can't help but to play defense in acknowledging
that the old heads don't got responsibilities.
But we have to call them old heads.
They got
responsibilities. So as much as I maybe
they must live. They don't live, you know.
As much as I feel like what happened, maybe the solution is to find ways to incorporate the fresh young minds to try
they want that.
To try to improve the growth of the business. Like we mix the old with the new.
You could do that without keeping the old. You could do that without keeping the old.
I think personally the institutions need to be constantly adapting to change to find ways in which to improve their business model. So for example, I use TDC as a perfect example. I must applaud TDC that since COVID, they actually restructured how they do business. So for example, I don't know if y'all went into City Drug Store. You know, before upstairs they used to have the office furniture. They took the office furniture, used less space, and actually moved that and incorporated it into the home and building depot upstairs. And now you go from home furniture, office furniture, and all that. And that's what we're talking about in terms of like restructuring, in terms of still being able to improve your business model and move with the times and still cut costs.
And keep the,
you know, so those are things that I think persons and institutions can do.
Yeah, so that's what I feel like we just need to intertwine, incorporate, and make everybody happy. And you see, Danica said, and it comes back down, no, I don't believe in pushing people up because of age, because it's ageism really. And it comes back down to education and experience being important. So you need to look at it if your company is going. And she agrees a lesson.
Well, we don't bring Danica as a guest.
We need to do a little FaceTime Zoom with Danica.
Well, yeah, we don't got a FaceTime
guys, hopefully one of these shows we're going to have a call-in session so you guys will be able to
ringing
calling.
WhatsApp though, I know your books. So we I want to want to screenshot that. But that's a joke. Yeah, but we use WhatsApp so you know.
So and you know we don't know who we number one guess is gonna be.
The first guest have to be Danica Knight.
We got big Danica, we got big Toshilo.
We got either FaceTime or we can Zoom.
Always commenting, always share your views.
We got big.
Listen, we value the comments so much.
Especially
it adds to the discussion. It helps us to know. the different views of the different people in the society, and that's what we want here. We want a lot of opinions.
Jolanda does use the comments as a way to ensure or remind herself that she ain't crazy. You know what I mean? Because she does so crazy. Yeah, she don't just want somebody like, how you come agree?
So it's clear to see that he's upset that I have a popular opinion.
No problem.
Fine.
Do you think?
I agree with Sakian today.
I get a couple. She good.
She also agrees
you
that
might lose a friend
she
because
also,
she good.
Sakian and Ayana also agrees that I have your popular opinion, and the comments, reflects that. So let's go on, Alistair.
I'm chilling. I ain't saying much right now.
That's what we're doing this week. We outside.
I think next week we're gonna have something different in mind.
Next week
for our
we're
viewers,
gonna
I think we're really trying to put a little flair to it. So I just want y'all to really keep watching, and we have things in place coming soon. All right.
The producer got a different shot today. Yeah? So nothing serious, yeah.
And pants,
a black shot, yeah. And pants, yeah. You don't think serious. But yeah, we're trying to work on the whole experience, the show.
And please, if you feel free to leave us some comments, let us know what y'all think we should maybe change the scene and change the vibe of the show too.
Yeah.
Any other suggestions, we welcome them. You know what I mean? So feel free. We are very, very receptive here. And we table anything. We table our own personal conversations after the show.
Yeah, Shakespeare.
Got this trouble Ayana about her significance sometimes, but you know we go. It's all love here.
Yeah, but G, you need to show your face one of these days, producer. You saying? We could do that for the people. If you get 100 views, producer show your face.
100 views every week.
No man, we gotta be attainable still.
So
live, we need 100 views live. At least we need some guests and so we're trying to do that. But we want to be conventional, right? We don't want to be conventional, so we'll find different ways to, bring about creativity as we strive to be entrepreneurs and business people and not retailers.
But based on tonight, we hope you guys, all the viewers who have not viewed us yet, when you do view the show, we hope that you guys have had an informed opinion on the university experience, whether it's international, regional, the online, the local. We hope that...
Yeah, I don't care. I just say F university.
Yeah, just do what you want. Live happy, wake up and live.
And we hope that you've had a good understanding as maybe why it is that we have brain drain in the country, and maybe we need to do more as young people to try to let our voices be heard. I'm kind of in the middle, so I can't really say push out the older population, but yeah.
And I also think
we just need to find ways to incorporate the modern and the tradition.
And I also think this topic tonight could actually be tabled again, with different opinions again, and get a different flavor of, what the viewers feel and stuff like that.
I mean, me not really for the university thing. Me really.
What you for? The piece?
I mean for the piece. Me on it. Maybe if I was on it, I would have but me more for people just developing as humans, because I don't feel like a university degree is what make you a better person to say. I just say university just make you a little more qualified. Not meaning as educated. Qualified. Just qualified. Literally, that's it. You're just going for qualification. That's it. But I mean, just strive to be better humans every day. That's what idols live to do. Strive to become a better person.
Sakian core.
Sakian freezing. You know what I mean?
See you guys next week Sunday.
You don't know. Thanks for tuning in. Let me do that. Comment. Danny Crow, comment now.
So, bye guys.
Jelani was hating before the show. No cap.
At 8 p.m.
Bye. Period.